This is a fight for her, for him, for them, for our future. Because the Jewish future depends on their Jewish education. But too many families are pushed out of Jewish day schools by rising tuition costs. We've heard the words before: tuition crisis. Everyone talks about it. But what are we doing to solve it? Teach NYS is the only organization fighting to make Jewish education affordable for every child. Teach NYS started in 2013 with the goal of finding real solutions to the tuition crisis through government funding. Non-public schools represent 15% of the students in New York, but only receive 1% of government funding. We deserve our fair share. We hired full-time lobbyists to make the case in Albany. We hired education specialists to work with day schools. 4 years later, Teach NYS has delivered real results. The politicians are starting to hear us. Teach NYS has changed the debate. It's no longer a question of if government funding is possible, it's a question of how much. In the 4 years before, Teach NYS non-public schools received $572 million in total funding. In the 4 years since we began, they have received more than $1.2 billion.
I aggressively support the religious schools. My budget reflects that. I've given the religious schools in my budget more money than ever before in history.
Millions of dollars to pay for state-mandated services.
Tuition is a huge burden, and Teach NYS is on the forefront of combating that.
Millions of dollars to pay for security guards and equipment.
We can keep our children safe because of Teach NYS.
Millions of dollars to pay for textbooks, teacher training, and after-school programs. For the first time in the nation's history, millions to fund science, technology, engineering, and math instructors at our schools.
Teach NYS is important to non-public schools to make sure that these students have the same resources that the public school students do.
Teach NYS also helps schools access all available resources.
One of the great things about receiving the additional mandated services funds was that we were able to keep tuition as low as possible.
Teach NYS is the only one fighting the tuition crisis.
For the first time in history, Jewish day schools are uniting with one voice, one coalition for all our schools. The only way to win this fight is to keep on fighting. Little by little, year by year, we are fighting in Albany. We are fighting in City Hall, passing legislation and securing funds that make a real difference for our students. This is a fight for our Jewish heritage.
My Jewish education really helps me connect to my roots.
This is a fight for our Jewish future. We can't afford to lose. Join us today.